What's going on, guys? We have approached the final day of the Tucson Pima Fairgrounds Horse Show. This horse show, horses are doing what you would call horse cutting. And if you're not familiar with what horse cutting is, then go check out episode 1 of this vlog series. In that video, I gave you a little brief explanation of what horse cutting is. So for this whole week, I've been recording the horses in pin 2. And there have been not as many horses showing up in pin 2 as much as there have been in pin 1. And I'll show you guys what I mean. So this is a paper right here that indicates how many different classes / sets are to be taken place in each pin. So pin 1, which my buddy Zach, another videographer in the Hoofprints video department, he is doing pin 1. Meanwhile, I'm doing pin 2. And pin 2, as you can see in parentheses, starts after non-pro. The non-pro is in pin 1 right there. So right after that is done, I will be moving into pin 2, starting with the 50,000 amateur, then the youth, and the 15,000 amateur, and so on. So as a videographer who's been doing these horse shows for quite a while, I started out doing them at the North Scottsdale Westworld location, where we would record horses reining, and not like actually rainfall raining, more like running around in a pattern through the arena, and they get scored based on how efficient their horse is and how well the rider is able to ride the horse. And there are many different aspects to the horse reining process that gets judged by a single judge, or sometimes more than one judge. Through the process, I've learned very important things about videography and in the way of capturing what is in front of the lens and making sure to keep the most important parts that you need specifically in frame. I've heard stories about videographers who think that they're getting the right shot and getting the right frame, but it turns out they're not. What I really like about this job is when I'm recording the horses, it really gives me the practice of making sure everything that I need is in frame, and this can help out with so many other video content creating aspects to whatever else you're doing. So for example, if you're shooting a short film, a music video, and you're wanting to make sure your subject is always in frame, or making sure that, if your subject is moving or if there's a wild scene going on, you have the skill and the experience to make sure your camera stays on top of that subject throughout the entire clip. So normally when you see a videographer recording, they're looking through their video LCD screen, or the screen that provides them with information about what they're shooting. Well, in this case, the videographers that work for Hoofprints Video, we look through a direct computer monitor, usually it's a Samsung or some sort of monitor that, gives enough color and picture for us to see what's going on. It's really helpful because it's like you're practically looking at a TV screen, a smaller one, and you're following the horse with your camera, not having to worry about looking at the small LCD screen that pops out of the camera itself. It gives you a bigger picture as to what you're recording and making sure you don't miss any detail. Because when you're recording the horse and it decides to go one way or the other, very last minute, you got to be on top of that shit. You got to put the camera exactly where the horse is going to be going. You got to know the horse's every move, not summarize it. It's literally impossible to memorize where the horse is going unless you're recording horse reining. But for horse cutting, you got to really observe the horse and figure out where the horse is going to be going, especially where the cow is going to be running to. So with these horse shows, it really gives me the practice and experience and following the subject and what I need to stay in that frame the whole time. So that's one thing I've definitely benefited from while working these horse shows, learning how to follow the main subject and never losing it, never letting it leave your sight.